2022 NFL Draft coverage on Keon Sports is brought to you by JBL Roofing and Construction. Sports fans and homeowners alike, let me take this moment to tell you about JBL Roofing and Construction. JBL is a licensed, bonded, and an insured contractor with experience to complete any job needed for your home or property. Let our team of professionals help you with vinyl siding, windows, roofing, and gutters. Get the job done right the first time and stress-free with JBL. Call them today at 330-677-9463. That's 330-677-9463. Or visit them on the web at jblrc.com. Jeffrey Protects Insurance. In today's day and age, insurance from someone you can trust is more important than ever, and you won't make a better choice than Jeffrey Protects Insurance. At JPI, they specialize in Medicare, healthcare services, and life insurance. Visit them at jeffreyprotects.com or call them at 330-304-7267. That's 330-304-7267. Dave's Golden Shear Barbershop, a staple of the community since 1954. Dave's Golden Shear Barbershop has been your trusted barber for nearly a century of great haircuts. With affordable prices and excellent customer service, there is no better place to get your cut. It is located at 26915 Center Ridge Road in Westlake. And TNT Construction, your top choice for residential, commercial remodeling, construction, and building services, not only in Cleveland, but all of Northeast Ohio. Look them up today at tntcleveland.com. Only 3 position groups remain in my 2022 NFL Draft Prospect rankings. Right now, we're going to take a look at the linebackers today. Secondary will start tomorrow, cover the corners and the safeties. Make sure to stay tuned for that. As we count that down, my mock draft is getting closer and closer around the corner as the draft continues to approach. So before I touch on the top 3 prospects in this linebacker class, I have to mention that there's a lot of talent in the mid rounds with this group. A lot of great players can really have some potential to make an impact on their team, but 3 guys separated themselves from this class. So diving right in, starting off at number 3, Chad Muma of Wyoming. Muma has all the tools to be a great linebacker in the NFL. He's agile. He's also fairly mobile for a linebacker. Really a terrific tackler in open space. Also not afraid to stick his nose in traffic. I really like his instincts. His awareness is really top notch. It really couples nicely with his strong ball skills for a linebacker that Muma possesses. He's a guy that, because of all of his ability, because of his talent, he's really risen up draft boards in the last couple of months. Maybe was looked at as probably going to be a mid-round guy many months back. Now he's risen up to that early stage, day 1, day 2 type of a player, continuing to rise up that board. I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to go up the board over the course of the next couple of weeks right before we hit the draft. Now, the big question mark for Muma is if he can perform at the same level immediately in the NFL that he did in college. Again, it's a massive step up in competition from what he saw in the Mountain West. Can he make that adjustment immediately? Will there be a long adjustment period? And if so, how long will that take? I personally don't expect it to be a long adjustment period. I actually think he'll settle in quite nicely fairly quickly. And if he's able to perform right away, expect him to make a big impact on the team that he ends up with. Probably going to start at will in a 4-3 base defense. Could even be that second linebacker in most 4-2 sets for a secondary heavy group. My player comparisons for Muma, there's 2 of them. Logan Wilson, also a former Wyoming grad, went to Wyoming and was successful there, and then went off to play for the Cincinnati Bengals and has been performing really as that second linebacker there in really what they run as a 4-2 base defense. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is my other comparison just because of the way he moves around the field. He has that agility, that quickness, maybe not quite as quick as JOK, but there are some similarities there. My projection, somewhere in the first or second round. He will go early. It's going to be probably day 2, but if he can slip up to day 1, that would be pretty awesome to see Muma be able to get up to that point. My best fits for him, Cincinnati, exactly where Logan Wilson is one of his comparisons. That would be a good fit there. Might not start right away, but would add some valuable depth if he goes there. Perhaps maybe even be able to beat out Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, some of those guys. Las Vegas, the Raiders, they still need linebackers right now. That's a position of need. He'd be an excellent fit with Las Vegas. Tennessee could use a great outside linebacker. He'd play his will there. That would be ideal for him with Tennessee. And then the wild card team, Cleveland. Will the Cleveland Browns be able to snag Muma? No, I don't think so. They're going to be addressing wide receiver. They're going to be addressing defensive tackle before they even look at linebacker. But it doesn't hurt to get another linebacker. It is one of their needs, but that's probably going to come 3rd, 4th, 5th round for the Cleveland Browns. At number 2, Devin Lloyd of Utah. Lloyd is a really highly regarded linebacker. He was looked at highly throughout last season, since the season ended in the last couple of months. Really a guy that is going to likely perform at the next level because he performed so highly in college. Really a ball magnet. Ton of interceptions, a ton of big plays, big game-changing plays that Lloyd makes. In 2021, saw that his pass defense improved, and that just coupled with the fearlessness he already has as a tackler. Really physical downhill, doesn't miss on many of his tackles, great form, an excellent player, and really has plenty of tools. He's a bit of a stiff runner though, maybe not as athletic as some of the rest of the class, but I expect him to do well at the next level. He has all the ability to make a big impact in the NFL. Probably going to fit best as a starting outside linebacker in a 4-3 base defense, probably as a will. I would expect to see him start come week 1 for whatever team that picks him. My player comparison is Levante David, a linebacker who can get all over the field, makes a ton of plays, has been a big impact player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lloyd's probably going to be much of the same with the team that he ends up at. Lloyd will go in the 1st round. Everybody's expected that. Really, throughout the whole entire draft process leading up to the draft, he's going to be one of those maybe 2, if not 3 linebackers that go on day 1. My best fits for him, the Detroit Lions. They could use a playmaker at linebacker. It would be an excellent fit up there in Detroit. The Kansas City Chiefs, now not necessarily the base defense that I think he would fit best in, but the Chiefs could use an excellent linebacker in Lloyd. He might actually play more of an inside linebacker if he went to Kansas City. Cleveland could pick him up. The Cleveland Browns would be a nice fit there. Again, they're probably not going to come up and get him. I'd be shocked for Devin Lloyd to end up in Cleveland, but he would fit the scheme quite well, playing as a will. And then the wild card team, the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals have decent linebackers, but they don't have a ton of depth at that position. Would be great for them to be able to snag a guy like Lloyd. Now at number 1, Nakobe Dean of Georgia. Dean is shot out of a cannon. Every single play out there on the field. He really popped off the screen on the film. Each game that you'd watch of Georgia playing, Nakobe Dean was always making an impact. Has an incredible burst of speed, excellent finishing ability as a tackler, just a playmaking linebacker with fantastic instincts as a blitzer. Quarterbacks will be needing to pay attention to where Dean is on the field because he is danger up the middle, getting right into the face of the quarterback. He moves well from sideline to sideline because of that speed. He makes tackles all over the field, has athleticism enough to cover, just doesn't have the length maybe to hang with some bigger tight ends. Sometimes he can whiff on his tackles just because he's coming in so hard and so fast, and maybe if he's not at the best angle, takes a bit of a bad angle, then he can miss on the tackle. That usually doesn't happen, but it is certainly a possibility. Dean can play outside or inside linebacker regardless of where he plays. He's going to make an impact. I'd prefer him best in a 4-3 base defense rather than a 3-4 base defense, but he can excel in either one that he plays in because of his ability. He's going to pop in this league. He's going to make an instant impact. It's a matter of where is he going to make that impact. Not sure, and we'll see. It will be exciting to see where he ends up. There's going to be a team that's really fortunate to have him because he's going to shine probably early in his career. My player comparison for him is Micah Parsons. Parsons came in as a rookie last year for Dallas and really lit up the league. One of the top defensive players in the entire league as a rookie. Made impact as a linebacker. Even at times they moved him to defensive end because they needed edge rushers because they were thin at the position, and he made that impact. I wouldn't be surprised if Dean, because of his ability, could do much of the same that Parsons did. My projection for Dean is in the first round. I don't think it's going to be top 10, but it's probably going to be somewhere 11 to the 30s. I really don't think that he's going to get too far down in the 20s. I wouldn't be surprised if it's somewhere in the teens that he's selected, but he's such a fantastic linebacker. Somebody's going to want him. I don't know if Lloyd will go first or if Dean will go first, but both are going to come off the board really quickly. My best fits for Dean, the Miami Dolphins. He'd be excellent down there in Miami making impact plays, staying down in the South. The New England Patriots, there, he'd play more of probably an inside linebacker, could make an impact up in New England, apply that pressure on Josh Allen. The Tennessee Titans would be an excellent fit really as an outside wheel linebacker probably there, make an impact in Tennessee. They're going to need to be able to stop the run of the Colts, be able to stop some of those other offenses. Not a strong division, but it's going to help Tennessee try to keep themselves in a position where they can keep making the postseason. And then lastly, the wild card team, the Las Vegas Raiders. They love some speed on defense. They have some excellent edge rushers, but they need that linebacker position, as I mentioned earlier, and this could really help take them to the next level on defense as they're trying to make sure that they can make the postseason in a loaded AFC West. That does it for this linebacker class. The top 3 prospects have been unveiled for this class. As I mentioned earlier, corners and safeties coming up next. We touch on the secondary. And then next week, my mock draft becomes official right before we hit the 2022 NFL Draft. Make sure to stay tuned for the last couple days of prospect rankings.